Hello, my name is Eric Fenwick and welcome to the Phoenix Perspective. Today I'm honored to have Louisiana's own Dr. Dana Truesdale. Dr. Dana, I would like to say, is an amazing woman. Years ago, I was 7 years old and I went to my first dentist that I recall, my first dentist appointment. And I was traumatized until 3 years ago. I sat in the chair and they put the needle near my mouth and I panicked, I freaked out. They put the mask over me. I felt like I was choking. I couldn't breathe. I woke up on my mother's lap. And the hardest thing for me to do over the next 40 years was go to the dentist. And then somebody said, hey, there's this dentist. Her name is Dana Truesdale. She's amazing. And I was like hesitant. I didn't want to go. And something said, give it a shot. I went to Dr. Dana. I was nervous. I was talkative. I was doing a whole lot of fidgeting. And then she hit me with the needle. I didn't feel a thing. And since then, I go regularly to my dentist and get things done. So Dr. Dana, please introduce yourself to my audience.
Hi, I'm Dana Truesdale, owner of Innovation Dental Center and Express Dental Emergency Services in Baltimore, Maryland. I am also mother of two children. I originally from Louisiana, a small town called Meharry, Louisiana. I currently serve in the Army National Guard as major. It's not really, there's a lot, but I'm not really sure what else you want to know.
Dr. Dana does not like to talk about herself,
I
but
don't.
today she's going to talk.
Yes.
So Dr. Dana, what was it that inspired you to want to be a dentist? How old were you when that happened and what was the events that happened?
So, like you, as a kid, I had an experience with my dentist that impacted me, but in the opposite way, in a positive way. I wore braces. I was that kid. I was chunky. I wore glasses. I had acne, all these crazy things at the same time. And so I got braces when I was 12, wore them for about 9 months. And I just remembered how I felt when I got them taken off. And I just want everybody to feel like that. Like if that is an effect that I can have on somebody else, I just want to share that with everybody. Plus, I had a really good relationship with my dentist. My dentist like entertained me. And so that's the main thing that influenced me.
Okay. So what is there a certain age where you find that certain people are more difficult? Like for me as a child, I always think children are always scared of dentists. So now when your clientele comes in, are they my age or are they younger folks or is there a dynamic that is just
So there's no real, you can't really put an age in the age group and match it with behavior. For me, I like to see the babies when they're babies and get them comfortable being comfortable in the dental office. Yes. A lot of parents project their fears onto the children and they don't realize how kids perceive those things. Their imaginations are crazy wild.
absolutely?
And so you have to speak good things. Like you can't talk about being afraid of the dentist in front of children. Who I think are my most nervous people, the more powerful people.
Okay.
Yeah, the people that we all see, who are the strongest people out in public, and you think they're fearless, but they are like putty in the chair,
They just want to get it over with. Like, all right, can we get
like
in here and
just
get it over?
scared.
Okay.
And you just sometimes you need somebody to coach you through it, and that's the thing with me. I am a coach, and I navigate people through fear every day, every single day.
And in saying that, I guess one of my questions, because from our conversations, physical ailments with your body, and I never knew this, that there's things that could be going on with your teeth that cause certain ailments in your body, the way you stand, the way you talk, the way you move, eye twitching. Can you give us some insight as to some of those things that people may not know about that may be related to their dental care?
So yes, There is an oral systemic connection between the mouth and the rest of the body. Sometimes people tend to separate their teeth from the rest of the body, and I'm not real sure. Some people tend to relate teeth to just being a cosmetic thing. Well, teeth have a function. For me and my profession, a lot of things that's going on in the body shows up in the mouth. So by the time you see it in the mouth, sometimes you have like big things happening. Like I know, prime example, a heart attack will show up as a toothache sometimes, a nagging toothache. And sometimes people will come, Doc, you got to take this tooth out. But before I get to that tooth, let's talk about your health history. Let's talk about some other things, because it could be a stroke. It could be a lot of different things. So also not taking care of the teeth. People seem to forget that on the other side of the mouth is the brain. And the only thing separating them are thin walls of bone, sinus cavities, holes in your head. So if you get an infection, that infection eats through bone, penetrates through bone, and it spreads to other places. So it'll spread down to the heart, following the glands. It'll spread back through the sinuses into the brain. It can kill you. Periodontal disease increases blood pressure. The same bacteria that's only supposed to be found under the gums is being found in blood clots all over the body, which causes your strokes. So there is a serious oral systemic connection, and it matters who you go to. You don't really want a dentist that's rushing in and out of the room without listening to you. I'll give you an example. I had a patient a few months ago to come in, and she had been to the emergency room, been on antibiotics, been on painkillers. Killers. That was my New Orleans accent.
Killers.
Did you hear it? Killers. She had been on painkillers for almost a week, and it wasn't scratching the surface. And so this is our first encounter. She comes in and she walked to my office. And we started off with a health history. She's going through her health history. And before I touch her, I want to take her blood pressure. Well, her blood pressure's 237 over 187. Ooh. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to ask you this question. You got two choices. How would you like to get to the hospital? Uber or ambulance? Because I know sometimes people don't want the ambulance bill. Mm-hmm. But either way, you need to get back to the hospital. It's not a toothache. And so she's in shock because, no, I was in the emergency room and they treated me for an infection. I said, but it's not going away, is it? And so she agreed to go by ambulance. And then the paramedics came in, and the paramedics, they're questioning me.
Like, who are you to
so
call
you're refusing her to take out a tooth, and she's in all this pain. Her blood pressure's up because of the toothache. And it's like, no, I've seen this before. Mm-hmm. This is some type of organ failure, probably, showing up as a toothache, because antibiotics is not touching it. Painkillers are not touching it. Her blood pressure is not this high because she missed one dose. And I said, what you're not asking is the rest of her health history. And so I said to them, okay, well, she's also diabetic. Oh, well, you didn't say she's diabetic? Well, guys, you didn't ask. Look,
you came in with these conclusions of why I didn't do, but that's why I have the degrees on my wall.
Yes, if I call you, you pick up the person and you go. Don't ask questions, just go. So 5 days later, she calls me. She says, Doc, I've been in ICU for 5 days.
Wow.
It turns out I have cancer. And so this is why everything was out of sync. Her blood sugar was over 400. Everything was out of sync because there was something wrong with one of her organs, and multiple organs. So I said all of that to say, it's not just about teeth. Teeth are not just a cosmetic thing. These are things that tells all your secrets. Mm-hmm. You know, you can look at the mouth and I can tell a lot of things about a person. I can look at your walk. I can see if one shoulder's higher than the other. If you're carrying pain, you know, a lot of times we're in pain and don't know it. until we do trigger points or stretching routines to release these muscles. And it's like, wow, I didn't even know that this was a thing. So yes, it's not just teeth. Dentistry is not just fixing teeth.
Because I always wonder, like I said, I didn't go to the dentist much. I went only when I felt like I had to go. And then when I came to your office, I had to do my medical history. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, why do you care about my medical? I'm here because my tooth is this, this, and this. So now after that explanation, I get it, because you did ask me about high blood pressure, which I did have, and how it related to something going on in my mouth. So I appreciate it, because I've worked on this high blood pressure thing. It's better. So my next question, educationally, your academic path took you to Dillard University.
New
And
Orleans.
while at Dillard, something happened that changed the course of your life for a brief minute, that had you rethinking what was next. Do you mind sharing what happened as you were ready to graduate from Dillard and getting ready to go to dental school?
Yes, yes, yes. So I had my career path all mapped out. Like I was gonna graduate in '99 and go straight to dental school. When most people said, don't be alarmed if you don't get into dental school the first time you apply. And that was not gonna be my story. I'm getting in, I'm taking territory, I'm claiming it, I'm doing this. And life threw me a curveball. I got pregnant my senior year and going into my second semester of my senior year in dental school. I soon after I got an acceptance letter into dental school. So I was still on my path, but I was not expecting this. So I ended up accepting the position because I cannot fail. That was my attitude. Like, no, I said I was going to do this. I must do it. And ultimately, I just didn't know how challenging that would be. I didn't know how challenging it would be to go through a pregnancy. I thought at Dillard, I studied the night before the test, maybe 2 or 3 days before the test. I was good. Dental school, however, no, sir. If you study 3 weeks before the test, you're still behind. So however much time you put into the classrooms, you have to put that equal amount of time studying that night. And so being pregnant, I didn't know I'd be tired all the time. I didn't know that I would be spaced out all the time. I didn't know I'd be hungry all the time. There were a lot of unknowns. And so I get to dental school and I'm the only person that's pregnant. And it's like, oh my God, I can't be this. This can't be my legacy. And so, I ended up having my son in September of my first semester of dental school. And life got tough, really, really tough. Because I thought I would just be able to, my son's gonna go live with my parents, it's great. And then I'll be able to finish school. Yeah, no, it didn't work like that. I ended up quitting dental school because at 2 weeks old, I had to let my son live 8 hours away from me. And nobody told me about postpartum depression. And this is that Phoenix part. Nobody told me how low you can sink mentally. My son's father and I were not in a relationship. We weren't speaking to each other at all, actually. And it was just myself. And my parents, thank God for them, they were like, no, we have this. You carry on with the mission. Like, we got it. But it was hard. Every day I felt like dying. Every day in class, the teacher's speaking, then the professors are speaking, and on my notebook, you can see me scribble out my son's name all over the page. I couldn't hear anything they were saying. I failed every class. And so I went to the dean and I said to him, I really just want to be a mother. Like, I don't care about any of these things. I'd rather be with my child. And the dean at the time said to me, you know what? I know what you're not going to quit. I'm going to let you take a leave of absence, and then you can get yourself together and be back. We won't make you reapply or anything. We'll hold a seat for you. And so they gave me that time to get it together. I don't know how together I got it, but whatever. But I was able to come back. So it really matters what school you go to. And I thank God for my HBCUs because they were very, very good to me. And that's Meharry. Let me shout out Meharry. Meharry Medical College School of Dentistry.
Where's that located?
In Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
Much love to Meharry and Dillard University.
And you also experienced, a touchy subject, some domestic violence while dealing with this situation. How were you able to, how did it affect you, and how were you to navigate your life post domestic violence?
So my mindset is I will not be a victim. So I just thank God for my parents, because my parents were my rocks and my parents laid down the law. No, and I'm a person, I'll listen to my parents. I still have that reverential fear even today. But they refused to allow me to act on anything, to do anything. And they're like, we have this. And so it was a lot of coaching. My classmates helped coach me through some things. It was a very, very hard time because I could not understand how I ended up being a single parent who's not really a single parent because my parents are actually raising my son. So it was just a weird, I beat myself up a lot. It was so stressful to me that one day I took a nap and I woke up with this white stripe.
The storm streak in
Yeah,
your hair.
I got a white stripe. And so that was God's little reminder, hey, this could be your whole head. Look.
Nothing wrong with a little gray. Nothing wrong with a little gray.
But when you're 21, 22.
Okay.
Look.
I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna give you that.
Yeah, it was a lot.
So, at what stage did you discover the military, and what branch of the military did you go into?
So I am actually 10 years in, 2015. I got tired of paying my own student loans back. It just seemed like it was taking forever to pay off. And it was over $300,000 in student loans.
Sure.
And I just decided, I'm going to let somebody else do this. And all of my friends who did it, they never, it was easy for them. And so that's why I did it, because it didn't require a lot of time or anything like that. And so I'm like, I can do this. I'm Army National Guard here in the state of Maryland. But my rank is major.
And you also, and this is always, when you hear professionals, lawyers and doctors and skill set minded individuals who are in the military, and you hear them say, oh, I was in the war. You don't think that they're near a front line. You think they're behind the scenes, away from everything. And from conversation with you and hearing your trauma, the things you experienced, the things you witnessed, I felt like you were literally 100 feet away from the bombs going off and the guns going off. Were you, and what was that experience like, and what did you see that created the trauma that you had to deal with while you were in the military, while you were actually involved with wartime military?
Oh, wow, that's a loaded question. Okay, so let's talk about it. I deployed. I went to Afghanistan in 2018. And how it went. Well, number one, I had 10 days to get my life together. They give us the mission, hey, your unit's gonna deploy a year out. But my orders got rescinded. So, yay, I don't have to go. And then on August 1st, I will never forget it. It was the day my nephew was born. My baby sister had a baby.
Okay.
I was so excited. And then the next call I got, it was like, hey, we need you. So I ended up saying, okay. And I said, when do you need me to report? August 10th. So it's like, wait a minute, I have a practice, I have a business. Look, it's not gonna work like that. And so I literally had to interview doctors. I had 10 days. I found a guy. He, 3 days before it was time to leave, called me and told me he couldn't do it. And I'm like, oh God. So I didn't have time to be mad or angry. I had to ask him, are you okay? Because when you make a drastic, because this guy was military too, sometimes there are red flags. And you have to be mindful. Somebody could be contemplating suicide, but sometimes when they are in that state, they want to make sure all their affairs are in order. So that's why I paused to say, hey, is everything okay with you? And once he said yes, I had to hang up and call somebody else. Like, hey, look, I got this happening. I need somebody to cover for me. So I found a dentist, met her 24 hours before it was time to leave. And this was my baby. This was my practice that I had, started from the ground up. And I didn't know if my staff was ready for that because I would be gone for 4 months. And let's fast forward to Afghanistan. That part right there was traumatizing.
I can imagine your thought process is like, this is my baby, and I got to step away and have somebody else run it. I get it. I get it.
And it costs money, and when I'm not there, my patients don't want to come. Like they're like, wait, she's not here. Okay, we'll reschedule. So there's all of that. How do you pay for this? Because dentists are expensive. They make a lot of money per day. So when I get there, first day, I hear boom, and the whole room shakes. And I was like, wait a minute, that sounded really close. And then there's these guys running out. And I'm like, okay, I know they said when you hear incoming, you bunker down, but they're running outside. And so I said, man, that sounded really close. Where was that? Like, how far away was that? Oh, that was 60 yards away. I was like less than a football field, 60 yards. Really? And so that was the awakening. Day one, a couple of hours after I land, that this is a real war happening. And then I kept hearing it. So from my room, if you open the windows, all you hear is machine guns going off all night. And I was able to sleep through that. And when it was quiet, I couldn't sleep. Like, wait a minute, something's up. Where are they? And I think the also piece is not knowing who to trust because you were there training them, but they sometimes didn't trust Americans and they would set Americans up. And there's just a lot happening, a lot of moving parts. But then in the daytime, I'm there running a dental office. And when everybody's asleep, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm running another dental practice in America. So I'm having to do both things.
Bi-coastal, per se.
Yeah.
The other side of the world and still maintain your business at home.
And so I'm on the phone with my office manager and she can hear the things. And I'm just talking really calmly, And so you just kind of don't deal with it until you're home. And then as far as the graphics, oh my God. There were mass casualties all the time. There were people with limbs blown off and gunshot wounds to the face. I got to see a lot of trauma to the face, gunshot. I didn't do cleanings there. I didn't do fillings there. It was more...
See, and that's what you think, you're doing the basics.
No.
But it's not the basics. These are severe, life-threatening things that you have to go through, reconstructions and things like that.
And they piece together the doctors that are there to figure it out. Like gunshot wounds to the face, broken jaws everywhere. And then I remember this one lady, she had a hole in her chest like this big. And she says to me, she has a really bad toothache. Remember I told you sometimes things will show up as a toothache.
She has a hole in her chest and she feels a toothache.
And she said, Doctor.
Okay.
And so I walk in the room and I'm like, are you sure it's your tooth? Because I'm looking down and I'm looking up and I'm like, how are you still alive? Like, how is this lady still alive? But whatever. And so I take the tooth out and she was so grateful. And so it's images like that that stand out in your mind, and just people with limbs in different places.
So do you feel like your experience there made you a better dentist, meaning that you have to different techniques in a short period of time? You have to get things done. You have to move a lot faster, like reconstructions and things.
No, I'm gonna tell you what it did. It made me trim the fat. The things that don't matter don't matter.
Okay.
It made me see things for what they are. It it made me not be so diplomatic, like just cut straight to the chase.
Okay.
Like, look, I don't have time to do all this fluff thing. This is what's happening. Your teeth are killing you. So it made me just be real, like, because I couldn't sugarcoat anything over there, and I felt like the message was coming across and people understood the gravity of the situation and they executed. It taught me leadership, because you have to make a decision and stand on it, because everybody with my rank, everybody's waiting to hear what the next instruction is. And it can be life or death. It can be, if you give the wrong instruction, you could be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Okay.
Yeah. So it just opened my eyes to a lot of things. It mellowed me all the way out, because I could be a firecracker sometimes. But I've become a lot more mellow.
Got you. So returning home, how long were you gone for?
I was gone for 4 months.
4 months. And you return home. What shape is your business and your life in when you return home?
Okay, it was a disaster. My house flooded while I was gone, and when I came home, the house was gutted. My office, I lost a lot of money that year, a lot of money. My staff was bickering with each other. It was crazy. So,
How did you rein that in?
first, let me just say this. I took 1 weekend off.
Okay.
So I got home on a Friday, was back at work on Monday, because I knew things were going crazy in the office. And I was bad when I came back, because I didn't have time to baby people. Remember, I was on
Right.
something different.
Exactly.
And so, I was bad. I was, I was mean. I was straight to the point. Like, do you think I care about this? I remember this one hygienist, the assistant didn't organize the suction straws in the drawer, the way she liked them. And so she showed me, she's like, look at how she put these in the drawer. And pre-deployment, well, after deployment, do you think I care about how these straws are arranged in a drawer? Just pick one, use it, and get on with your life. Like,
So you were more direct and but not like you said, I didn't sugarcoat anything.
No, I didn't coddle. It's like, look, this is stupid. Do it. It was more like that.
So when did you find the Dana that we all know and love today? This Dana who is much different from what you described when you came back. When did you start to recognize that I'm not the same person that I was before I went away, and that my mindset had shifted? When did you start to grasp that individual?
So the one thing about the military, they know that you're going to come home different. And so they put a lot of things in place, a lot of resources in place. I don't know how. When I came home, I didn't know how to feel. Like, I felt so out of place. I kept looking for something to fill a void. So I spent so much money on so many things, unnecessary things. I bought like five fur coats.
Guilty. I'm guilty.
So it was just all trying to fill a void, and it's like nothing I could do that made me feel any better. And so I started seeking outside help.
Okay.
So therapy, life coach, started unlocking some things, and it helped me to navigate through this post-deployment thing. Yes, I still deal with a lot of things because I've seen a lot of things, and I'm very cautious about places I go. And you all talk about how I don't like talking about myself. I was like, I kind of like being under the radar. I know what it's like to be targeted.
Right. Understood.
So,
Understood.
yeah.
So you've won, and you've been recognized for a lot of things within the work you do. What is the one thing that stands out of all the recognition that you've received? What is that one thing that just resonates the most and makes you feel like everything I do is worth this feeling I have right here?
Oh, that's a really good question. Every time my parents introduce me to somebody, that's what I live for.
Wow.
Everything else is great, but to have both of my parents talk about me or brag about me, and then, and it's not really bragging, but it's a testimony to, or a testament to them. Everything I do because I love them so much, and I want them to know you did good. Look, and I know that's not correct grammar.
No,
But out of all of the
totally.
awards,
Yes.
that's the one I live for. Like all of the accolades, that's the one that means the most to me. And not to discredit anything else, any other award that I've gotten, but that's the one that I can't get enough of. Like it's like winning the Grammys every
Because
time
your
it
parents
happens.
can be your hardest critics because they know what's in you, and they see when that thing that that rate they raised has turned and changed. And like you said, they helped take care of your child. They saw you go through that depression and that emotion, and they also saw you come up out of that and become the shining star that you are today. So I totally understand.
Yeah.
Totally understand.
Like no award compares to that.
Gotcha.
And then to have them both here, like that's amazing. That's and both healthy in their right minds and active and do the things. So it's just I live for those moments.
Okay. Now, I also know that you are very big in community service and mentoring. Is that something, because your mother's a pastor, am I correct?
Yes.
Is that something you were raised doing, or did you realize later, I can change the way a lot of young ladies and young men think about life and where they're trying to go?
So I think that everything that I went through was for me to help somebody else navigate through it. I think that growing up in the household that I grew up in, my father was in politics, my mother was in ministry. We were always serving. And so it's a lifestyle for me. And whatever you can do to make things better for your community, for your church, for your whatever, you do it. You don't just talk about it. You don't just criticize. You get in there, you put your boots on the ground, and you do the work. So it's just it's second nature for me
Okay.
to inspire people to be better. I think that's my superpower, actually.
Okay.
I think that's what it is.
All right. We're going to go with that. That's a superpower. Inspiration.
But I am such a cheerleader, a fan, a motivator. I get those girls when they're young, and I tell them the good, the bad, and the ugly as far as it goes to my life, with my life, because they think I have it all together. And I'm like, it wasn't always this, There are things that I did that caused me to take the scenic route to where I'm going. And you don't have to, this doesn't have to be your story, but if it is, there's still a light at the end of the tunnel, and you got to enjoy every moment of it.
Facts.
Yeah,
Facts.
so everything means something.
So currently in your state, what challenges have you seen over the last 5 years in dentistry?
People getting dental work done in basements of
Getting
people's homes.
Oh, okay. Like the hairstylist who does hair in the basement
In the
of
kitchen?
their home, in the kitchen. Gotcha.
Worse. Yeah, you got people that just yeah, people are not treating disease. They're so into cosmetics, and you have to know that this thing is physics, it's biomechanics. It's not just pretty, you know. But the art is when you can make it all come together. And so you have to go to a professional that's been through schooling, that understands biomechanics, that understands physics, that understands biology. Because so many people are dying because they want to be pretty for the cameras and just letting people do anything to them. So that is my biggest pet peeve right now. I have people that will go out of the country, get all this dental work done, but not address the underlying problems. Like, you can't do this with periodontal disease. It's, I was gonna say it's stupid. It is.
It is. So in other words, those people who go to the gold and diamond shop and get these grills made
It's
and
to
have them
cover up.
permanently fixated to their teeth.
To cover up a broken tooth or a rotted tooth. And it's like,
You're doing more damage, unrepairable damage to the area of your mouth.
and it's fine. You can have these things if that's what you like. But you have to address it's a medical need. Like, don't just cover up a chipped tooth because it could be an infection in there. And like I said, that stuff is on the other side of the brain. So it's a big deal. And we're talking people who find money to do everything else. Like, you have to invest in yourself. What you do to your body today is going to show up.
Absolutely. Advice for aspiring dentists in today's world.
Take business classes before you get to dental school. Like, understand money, understand finances, get very familiar with business strategies and how to make your money make money for you. And always, always have multiple streams of income.
So how do you feel about, do you, because you're in the office most times and you're working. Then there's a billing process and there's another process that comes with the billing process. And are you always able to monitor all that, or does things sometimes come back and you realize I might have missed something or someone may not have done something and it's affecting my business? How do you deal with that?
As soon as you identify it, if you can't fix it, you find somebody who can. In my case, I don't want to deal with all of that. So I hire people to take care of all of my billing, to take care of all my insurance claims for the 2 insurances that I am dealing with for right now. You just really, you have to stay on top of it. You can't get behind because you have 1 year to get it together, or in some cases less than a year, because people are always moving. Sometimes it's just hard to chase money. So that's what I mean. For the incoming dentist, make sure you understand the business side of things, because the dentistry chair side piece, you're going to be taught that in school. So that's the easy part. There's so many moving parts to ownership. And then you have to decide what kind of dentist you want to be, because everybody doesn't want to be an entrepreneur. That's just what I wanted to do. I'm a natural born leader, so I wanted to do my own thing. But there are some who don't want to deal with any of that, and they just want to be chairside, and that works well as well.
So innovative dental.
Innovation Dental Center.
Innovation Dental Center. Where are they going now? What are they doing today that was different than you were doing 2-3 years ago? Are you expanding? Are you building? I know you have a great network of dental friends around this world, around this country.
World.
Are you partnering? Are you building? What are you building? What's the next thing for Dr. Dana and Innovation Dental?
So we have a second location. That's more Dr. Dana versus Innovation Dental Center, that we are looking to expand a little more. There's a third location that I'm in talks with right now that's in another state. But Express Dental Emergency Services, also known as the Dental ER,
Okay.
we are going to open up multiple practices all across the United States.
What does that look like?
What does that look like? Almost like your urgent care facilities. So we're talking extended hours. We're talking the ability to make it your primary care, your primary dentist. But more so, we want to address the immediate need. And the reason behind that is because so many people wait until there's an emergency or things hurt to be seen. And sometimes that's not an ideal hour, it's not an ideal time. And they call all around to see who's open, to see if you can take new patients. And you can't. A lot of times the dentist is gone at 3, 4 o'clock. So we wanted to come up with something where people can come in, walk in, and get dental work done.
Okay. And how can people find Dr. Dana? How can people find you to have work done, to have consultations, to fix those teeth that they had the diamonds and jewels on and everything that were rotten underneath? How do they find you?
So I'm in Baltimore, Maryland at Innovation Dental Center, 1001 Fleet Street. And the website is www.idcbaltimore. IDC means Innovation Dental Center, not I don't care. Yeah, so idcbaltimore.com. Instagram, kind of playing with the Instagram a little bit. IDC Harbor East is my Instagram.
IDC Harbor East.
And Dr. Dana DDS, that's kind of my personal but business too. And Innovation Dental Center on Facebook. And I have some other ones coming up. I don't remember.
Well, when this shows, we will have that new information.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for your time. I know you were working all day and you took the time to come and sit with us.
Yes.
I want to say that, your story, your life is a life to be heard, and I know you like sharing it with young people. And the show is the Phoenix Perspective, and it's basically overcoming obstacles and being able to shine in this world. Allow your wings to spread and your soul to reach others. And I think the inspiration from what I'm gathering is those young women out there who are dealing with things and feel like I can't overcome. They have children at an early age and feel like my life stops here. You're the motivation to say, no, my dreams can come true. My dreams are still here. I am here, so my dreams are here. And there's a community that's willing to embrace. And I know for a fact there's a lot of people who want to mentor and help young people. And those who have heard Dr. Dana's story, please reach out to Dr. Dana, because she's not too overwhelmed to help someone get to the next level.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you. Go ahead.
And let me just be clear. It's not just ladies. It's male too. Like I mentor a lot of guys too. So everybody can get the love.
When you need the love, Dr. Love Dana is right here to give it to you. So I want to thank you. I appreciate you. I look forward to the future of Dr. Dana and Innovation Dental and her partnerships around the world.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.